Hey guys, today I played a round 7 game against my opponent from Kazakhstan. I'm playing in a classical tournament here in Aktobe, Western Kazakhstan, and I played like HIKARU Nakamura. Like the first 15 moves were identical because they were my prep, and I unleashed some crazy prep in this game. So let me show this to you. I'm really proud of what I did here, and also the game is very instructive. I played with like 90+% accuracy. So we have the Sicilian defense, and lately people have started prepping for me really deeply. They know what I play against the Sicilian, and they surprise me, and I encounter some computer lines that I've never seen in my practice, even though I've played lots of, like, I usually play knight c3, and the people come up with lots of great ideas against this, and I'm sick and tired of people playing like 15 moves instantly, first line of the engine, and I have to think for like 30 minutes in the opening to come up with something, and sometimes I'm even worse out of the opening. So I decided that I need to broaden my opening repertoire, and for this game I prepared for my opponent, and I knew that against the Smith-Morra Gambit, which is actually something that I wanted to start playing anyways, which is this gambit against the Sicilian. It's a good gambit actually. So if they take, you take, and you develop like this, like this, like this, like this, and you attack at the cost of the pawn. You get great initiative. But I saw that against this gambit he goes d3. In several games he used this approach, and I decided, okay, I'll prepare for d3. I also prepared for like d takes c3, obviously, because there is a possibility that he, seeing that I for the first time in my life play in classical chess this gambit, decides to surprise me in turn to get me out of my prep. So I was prepared for this. I also was prepared for other ways to play against this gambit, knight f6, for example, d5. But I was expecting d3, and I was expecting a position that happened like on the board in several moves. Let me show this to you. So takes, g6, knight develops, I go c4, preventing d5. He goes knight c6, developing, I castle, he goes d6. Now this is the idea, trying to pin me, so h3 is very important. And knight f6, knight c3, castles, bishop e3. Actually, this is the position that happened in one of his recent games. So I decided probably he would play this, and his opponent played something else. But I checked the database, and it turns out that HIKARU Nakamura, none other than HIKARU himself, played 3 games or 4 games in this position. Some against very strong opponents. I think one against Alireza Firouzja, for example. In Blitz, online, he doesn't play this gambit in classical anymore, even though he used to in his younger years, I think. Top guys don't play gambits anymore. Very, very rarely do they play. Pragnananda recently played the Benko gambit with black, which is like very great, respect to Prague, but it's only like a surprise weapon. Usually people don't play gambits at this top level, but HIKARU does it in Blitz sometimes. And he goes bishop e3, he goes rook c1, he goes b3, creating this pawn chain, and this structure is called the Maroczy bind. e4 and c4 pawns restrict d5 break by black, restrict b5 black, b5 pawn break by black. And the engine really likes these positions because white is leading in terms of space, and black doesn't have too much counterplay. That's the problem. So I prepared for this, and 97 is what my opponent played, which was expected. He wants to put the knight on c5, on e5. I go rook c1, not wanting to spoil my pawn structure. I don't want to take with a pawn. If he takes my knight, I'll take with a rook. Now he goes here. I also was considering this as one of the possibilities. And I drop back. He takes, I take. This is still my prep. And here is where my prep ended. I remember that I have to go b3 and then like use my space advantage to attack. I have checked a couple of games by HIKARU, and he won most of them very convincingly. So against strong grandmasters. So I thought that, yeah, looks nice. He was winning against Alireza as well, but he blundered something and lost. But like I think in all of his games he was winning. So where he used this line. So I thought it should be a great line. Also, the engine says it's plus 0.7. And also my opponent is not a machine, and I've prepared with a machine. So I have this secret knowledge that is not accessible to him currently over the board. So I was very happy about it, happy that this position happened. He goes bishop e6. I go bishop e2, logical, overprotecting this pawn. Then I want to go here, and maybe I go f3, maybe I go f4, maybe I go even g4, f5 and push on this side of the board. I have lots of different ways to proceed, and he doesn't have too much counterplay. That's the problem. So he goes rook c8, I go b3, strengthening this pawn chain. He goes b6, and already like it's not the best move, and I'm already much better, +1. Thanks to just opening prep. This is like a good example of how openings matter at my level already. At your level, if you're an amateur player, they don't matter. You can play whatever you want. But when you start playing tournaments at around like 2000 rating, then they start matter a little bit. Not too much, actually. Honestly, like I sometimes play some garbage openings in such tournaments, and it sometimes works. But at a higher level, at a master level, at a grandmaster level, openings matter like very, very much, but you probably know this, so let's not delve into this. Queen d2 is what I chose, the best move according to the engine. I hinted maybe going bishop h6, but not necessarily. Maybe I just want to go rook d1, f4, just create a powerful centralized position for my pieces, improve my pieces, and then think what I want to do. Probably I want to attack on the king side, but not necessarily very fast. Here he goes queen d7. I decide to go first f4, and I anticipate that he has to do something. He cannot just wait. Like the engine says, the best move is king h8, and like not doing anything at all. So if I go, for example, here, the best move is queen e8. Wow, like I don't understand this. So black doesn't have any active play. So I thought that f5 is an idea that I could have played if I were him, and he did it. But I suspected that it's not good because he's opening this diagonal. His king is now weaker due to this opening of the diagonal. And also, like, it shouldn't be good. If I take, which I did, if he takes here, I have, for example, g4. And I'm pushing him back, and then I go here, and I can make my position even stronger. Go here, go here, go here, prepare h4, h5, or f5, and my attack is just very strong, and he doesn't have much counterplay. And also this diagonal belongs to me. So that's what I thought. But instead of capturing with the bishop, he captured with the pawn, which I found dubious. Well, it is one of the moves, but he's opening this file, which could be used by him, obviously rook g8 and trying to put pressure on me. But I thought that it should be used by me, first of all, and I should be attacking him. So I went bishop f3, first of all, improving my bishop. Very, very nice diagonal now for the bishop. He goes bishop f7. Obviously, he wants to push e5 in the center. That's his idea. I go rook d1. I'm not allowing him to go e5 because that would lose this pawn. So he defends, protects the pawn. Now I go rook e1, taking the central line. He cannot go here. Well, he can, but it's not very good because he can only capture with the knight, not with the pawn, because the queen is pinned. And then I just go, I can go here, for example. I have this knight's outpost for a bishop and for a knight, and I'm much better in this position. So I thought I'm not afraid of e5. I'm just looking at his position and asking him a question: what are you going to do? Are you going to weaken your position even more with e5, or are you going just to wait? He's waiting. He prepares maybe e5, going with the rook to this file. Now I go king h1, sidestepping. Also a good move, because in future, in some variations after e5, e takes, bishop takes happens. This could have been a check, for example, or this could have been a check in some variations. So it's usually a good rule of thumb to move your king to h1 if you move to the f pawn. So because this diagonal is potentially open, even though now it's not. So in future, it is useful. So I move it because he doesn't have any like active counterplay. I'm not afraid of anything he can do. So I can just improve my position and wait, and then decide what to do. He goes king h8. He also doesn't probably know what to do and wants to get away from this diagonal because he also moved his f pawn. But now I go knight b5, and again now he cannot even think of going e5 because I have 3 attackers on the d6 square, so he cannot go there. And also I'm threatening to take a pawn, even though probably I don't want to do that, but it is a threat. So he goes rook c8, preventing this. Now if I take, he can take with the rook. I can do that, by the way, because my position is so much better. I can trade the bishop for the knight and go here, and if he takes, plant the knight here, and the knight is better than his bishop, or I can capture with the queen as well. Both are very nice, but instead I decide, why should I trade the bishop for a knight? I can go knight d4, and I can trade the knight for a knight. And it's also very nice, because if he takes me, I'll take with check, and his king will be so wide open. Look at this position. Takes. He has to go here. Look at this bishop. It's it's useless. It's not doing too much. My bishop is much stronger, you see. Also, potentially, I can go bishop here, trade, take with the pawn, infiltrate with the rook, another rook, and his king is wide open while mine is very safe. So even though material is equal, the engine says that white is close to winning already. So that's why he is not taken. He goes rook g8. He wants me to take him, helping him develop, and at least he will have like some ideas of counterplay over there, even though it's still nothing and I'm still much better. But I'm not helping him develop. Instead, I go rook e3. I say, you take me, I'll take you with check, you will help me develop. He says no. Okay, I double on the e file. Now, potentially, I'm putting pressure on this weakness. Still a little bit ill, so sorry about the cough. Takes with check. Here he just did not know what to do, so he decided finally he might as well capture because he has no better moves, and the engine agrees. So takes with check. Sorry about the arrow. He blocks, only move. And now I go bishop d5. And I'm confident that I should win this position. Even though material is equal, he's just so cramped. I have such active pieces. I can put pressure on the pinned rook. You should put pressure on the pinned piece. You should know this PPPP abbreviation. So definitely this pawn is weak, this pawn is weak. In endgames, I'm always better. But if he survives until the endgame, it will be very surprising. So he goes bishop g6, trying to block this file. But I go bishop e6. This bishop is blocking the coordination of his pieces, because potentially, if I were black, I'd try sacrificing this pawn to at least like have my pieces better coordinated. So instead, I prevent this idea. He goes here. Now I go rook g3, putting pressure over here. Potentially, there are ideas of h4, h5, and he will not be able to capture because his rook will be taken with a checkmate. So that's one of the ideas. Another idea is currently I can take. If it's black to move, but if white moves, white can take, because that will be also a checkmate. So white is threatening to win this pawn. So he goes rook f8, trying to stop this. But now I have bishop d5, first attacking his queen. And then the rook e6. I decide to put a rook on this outpost. Also nice. And now I'm threatening to take here and then to take here, putting pressure over here. Maybe not now, but it's one of the ideas. Also, I'm threatening h4, h5, and he doesn't have too much to do. Also, this bishop is very strong, so he cannot sidestep from the pin, because then there will be a discovered check to the king and he will lose. So not much we can recommend to black. Black tries exchanging the queens. Of course, I decline the exchange, keeping this pin. He goes back, because otherwise rook takes e7 would be a threat. The rook cannot capture back because it is pinned. So he goes queen c7, trying to hold on to this pawn. But now I just go h4. And my threat is h5. As I told you already, this rook is very vulnerable. He goes rook f6, desperately trying to block this diagonal. But now I just take. He takes, and I take like this. And I'm up a pawn, and he's still pinned. And I calculated that he can go to this endgame, queen e7. I take. But I have this h5 move, very nice. If he takes, this is checkmate. Oh, not this, rook g8. Checkmate in one move. So he cannot take my pawn, he has to block this diagonal. But now I take, and I'm up a pawn in a rook endgame where he has lots of weaknesses. This is weak, this is weak, this is weak, this is weak. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4 pawn islands. I have 2 pawn islands. So this is one pawn island, this is another pawn island. So pawns that stand on the adjacent files. So his pawns are very weak, and he's down a pawn, so definitely I should be winning this game. Which is why I decided, okay, I'll go into an endgame. I go rook e3, taking the open file, wanting to infiltrate like this or like this. He goes here, I go rook e6. He has to stay guarding this pawn. Now I go king h2 because the pawn, a king should be active in an endgame. He kicks me back. Okay, I drop back. He goes here, I go forward with the king. He tries to go for some counterplay with b5, but I'm not afraid of this. I go here. He goes here, I exchange 2 pawns, but I go g4. And once he takes, now I finally have a passed pawn, which is very important. If you have an extra pawn in an endgame, you need to convert it, you need to create passed pawns. And also he still has 3 weaknesses. He's traded 1 pawn, but he still has 3 pawn islands. And it's hard to defend them. It's hopeless. This endgame is hopeless. Rook c5, I go rook d2, putting pressure on this pawn. He goes here, and I push my passed pawn. So next I want to go here, and maybe I can take this pawn, for example, and then promote my h-pawn if he does nothing. He tries to go h6, preventing my king from infiltration, but here I have nice check, and f6. You need to push your passed pawns. You need to use your assets. Now I just want to go f7 and then queen and win. So he checks me, I go here. He cannot take this pawn, because then I just can go here and he cannot stop the queening. So instead, he goes rook here. So if I go f7 now, he has this check, winning this pawn, and suddenly he's close to drawing the game. Of course, I do not miss this. I go king f5. Now, if he checks me from behind, I can just go here and still queen my pawn. So instead, or first actually I go rook e7, sorry. And then I go king f5, it's even better. So he checks me on g5, I go here, he checks me here, I go here, he takes my pawn, I go here, and my pawn is just queening. And here, he made a couple of more moves. I captured one of his pawns, I went here, and now he will be losing one of the pawns. So he resigned the game, and I get this important win. On the basis of the first 7 rounds, I'm gaining around 30 rating points. So not bad. I hope I can get more wins in the remaining 2 rounds. Thank you for watching. Please drop a comment if you like this game and my Hikaru prep, and see you in the next one.